All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, September the 20th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Where are my napkins?
I don't know. You want one of mine?
I have no idea where my napkins are.
You got a napkin over your over your neck. I'm gonna say you got a napkin around your neck.
Yeah, there we go, right there.
There you go.
That's the way to do it.
There you go.
Oh,
So,
happy National Pepperoni Pizza Day.
happy National Pepperoni Pizza Day. Let me put it up there. Happy National Pepperoni.
Not one of my favorite toppings for a pizza. It probably wouldn't even make my top three.
It wouldn't make your top three?
Mm-mm.
What would? Well, you know what? I'll ask you later.
Yeah, ask me later.
Ask you later. I don't have pepperoni pizza, so I can't partake. But I do have pepperoni. So
The greasiest part of the pizza.
greasiest part of pizza. Yeah. I happen to have a couple slices, so I might have another.
Another?
I might have another. So is that it? Or is it just National Pepperoni Pizza Day? Is that it?
Of course, it's never just
One
thing.
day, right?
That is. Have I ever given you just one
Never.
National Day?
It's always been about 4 or 5.
Yeah, we did miss. Maybe it's next year.
What's
Might
that?
be on it. International Chocolate Pirate Day was yesterday.
That was right. Next year it will be on a show next year. So
That's gonna be a fun show.
look forward to next September for that show.
that one's gonna be stupid.
There you go, 2023. There you go.
2023. No, it's also National String Cheese Day, the savior of many a parent.
This right here.
One of those things. You got a Polio one though, don't you?
I have a Polio. Yeah.
Yeah, those are some of the best ones. I got mine came from Lidl. Lidl has a lot of their own branded stuff.
Yeah, they do. You know, it's probably Polio anyway, but
Yeah, probably. Let's see. I don't know. It's falling apart like a Polio.
mm-hmm.
These are good, but
There you go.
these Cheerios and Goldfish.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
There you go. But you know what? I'm gonna have another piece of pepperoni with my
There you go. You're almost having a pepperoni pizza.
kind of sort of, right?
But when I pizza, you have to have beer.
You do. Because what goes better with pizza than beer?
So, I'm cutting into my beer here.
Are you you're gonna jump the gun and have a beer now?
I'm jumping right into it because I was at a brewery a couple weekends ago in Connecticut called Quirk Works.
Okay, fair enough.
And one of my favorite styles to go with pizza, Oktoberfest, right?
That works. Nice and malty.
Yeah. You got a nice malty in it. It's light. You know, It's a lager, so it's light. Well, this one is anyway. So it's a Quirk Works one.
Mm-hmm.
We should get this guy in the show.
We should.
Yeah, he was.
What's his name?
Rick Cipriani.
Rick Cipriani.
Yeah, I think it's Rick Cipriani.
All right. Well, why don't we get him on the show?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's just get him on the show. Welcome to the show, Mr. Rick Cipriani.
There he is.
Quirk Works Brewing. Look at that.
Thanks a lot.
Anybody out there that didn't know where we were going with that?
Yeah, our segues are so blatantly obvious.
If it's National Pepperoni Pizza Day, it should absolutely be National Greasy Napkin Day.
Oh, absolutely. One doesn't go without the other. I mean, come
or
on.
greasy shirt sleeve day.
Who doesn't dip and I'm trying to absorb the grease from the pepperoni off before you eat it?
Exactly.
There are some weirdos that will actually hang it and drip the oil into their mouth.
In my 20s, I probably didn't, but in my 40s, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But I'll tell you this is Feast of Frenzy. This is the Oktoberfest. I got too many lights on in the room.
I can see it. That's fine.
But
I'm gonna have to get up there and get some of that. So
nice and malty, really stands up to the pizza while still being light in body. You can't ask for a better pairing with pizza.
Very nice. Very, very, very nice.
I guess a lot of people like to drink the adjunct pilsners and the lighter lagers with pizza, and it's might as well just if you're going for your beer for taste, you might as well go with water. They can't stand up to a pizza.
No, not at all.
So I need
Frenzy right here as well. That's
what
I'm drinking.
Are you drinking that too?
Oh, it's.
I feel left out. Damn it. So, I am drinking from Mechanical. Dave, you were just there a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was.
Their strain, their Sabro IPA. So,
and I'm not afraid to say that I love the malt forward beers more so than the IPAs, the hazy craze.
Absolutely.
And,
Dave, would you like to tell them about
My mouth full. Why would you do that?
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Both of us do. Hence the lager room guys, not the IPA room guys.
Yeah.
So, even though I'm drinking an IPA.
And I'm going to be drinking 2 IPAs after this, but our favorite, John and my both favorite, our beer taste is very, very similar. I think it's because our beer upbringing was very, very similar.
Similar, yeah.
How we got into it, how we progressed through it. But Schwartz beers, Monte Pivos, those dark lagers, porters and stouts.
Sure. Brown ales, old ales, alt beers.
Dark milds.
Dark mild. I could drink a dark mild all day. And that's what's meant to be drank all day, right? So 3.8% beer, So anyway, but yeah, no, I'm much more malt forward. I mean, a good solid IPA is always good now and then, but malt forward beers give me that every day. I'm good. So how are you this evening, Rick?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm sitting in our tasting room right now, so it's kind of quiet on a Tuesday night. We only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like that traditional brewery tasting room hours. Sure. In front of me, you can't see, is our food truck. So we're kind of unique that we actually own our own food truck. We don't have to rely on the rat race of who's going to show up, who's not going to show up, that type of thing. So
let me get this straight now. So in Connecticut, not only can you have food trucks at your brewery, you can actually own them too.
We can, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a city or town ordinance, and we got permission in advance because we couldn't put a kitchen in the brewery. So the loophole was put the food truck outside the brewery.
Well, that works. Well, I say that sarcastically because I'm sure you've heard what's going on in New Jersey right now. So
I do not.
No, there was a special ruling from the Alcoholic Beverage Commission saying no food trucks at breweries. Breweries can't, and forget about owning. You can't. I mean, you can't provide food at all unless it's chips or pretzels or something. But you can't coordinate with food trucks. So people can come drink all day, sit there for 10 hours and get drunk, but no food.
That's absurd because during COVID, I had a brewery in New York during COVID, and we need the Cuomo chip or the Cuomo dog because that prevented COVID to have food with your beer. So It was a necessity. It was a law that you mandated it.
Right. Absolutely. And that only makes sense. I mean, regardless of, the pandemic or anything, it just makes sense to eat while you drink. Right. So we all know this, but things are starting to change. We won't get into all of that, Happy. I mean, it's just, there's some ridiculous rules and things. They're not laws, they're rules because legislature didn't write any of these. It was just a ruling by the ABC because they have special power.
And the only law that was on the book in Jersey was that you had to take a tour of the brewery first before you could sample beer.
Yeah.
Right.
Beer.
So
this is all those older laws before, like the craft beer, breweries have kind of have boomed, and the laws just have not caught up to the times and what the market and retailer what we're looking for.
Well, very few laws have changed when it comes to alcohol beverage sales and production and everything else in New Jersey since Prohibition, since 1933. Well, so they're almost 100 years old, these laws. So.
I'll give you one more of why I started a brewery in Connecticut 4 months ago, because the laws allow the brewer to also be the wholesaler. So back the 3-tier system: manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer. In Connecticut, I act as my own distributor.
Nice.
So I don't have to go through a Big Red or Big Blue wholesaler.
That works.
In Jersey, many of the breweries do self-distribute.
Yeah, in New Jersey, breweries can self-distribute in New Jersey to Jersey, obviously. But there's no they don't have to go through wholesale distributorships, and breweries can actually apply for a wholesale distributorship license in New Jersey too, and become a distributorship and distribute other breweries beers as well from out of state and in state and whatever. But
sure. I know Massachusetts did that with Night Shift.
Right.
I worked for them for a little bit. I knew about that.
Right. Gotcha.
You work for Night Shift?
Distributing. Night Shift distributing. I did it in Connecticut as I was gearing up to start this. I needed some part-time work, full-time work, as I did kind of moonlighted to get this off the ground. And then I kind of went full swing. And I had to kind of let that go.
Sure. Fair enough.
Night Shift probably really perked up Johnny's ears. It's
my favorite Massachusetts brewery. So Night Shift is. And there's plenty of good liquid in Massachusetts, but Night Shift seems to just edge it out for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's talk about Quirk Works. Let's talk about Connecticut beer. Let's talk about your beer, Danbury beer. So you opened it. You just said 4 months ago. Before we get to that, actually, Dave, you're both drinking that. I said we're drinking that. But before we get to the questions, we got to ask the first question. We always do. Okay, if you can remember, what was the first craft beer you ever had?
Well, I I went to University of Vermont in Burlington, so plenty of breweries back then.
Sure.
Probably was either Catamount, Long Trail, or Otter Creek.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Very good.
Yeah, I remember Otter Creek Stovepipe Porter, drinking that, thinking it tasted like mud, spit it out. I mean, I'm 20 years old. Remember,
Right.
you know, and I think I grew into that. And I actually was a brewer for Otter Creek after I graduated college. I went to work for Otter Creek. So
and you brewed stovepipe, right?
Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Otter Creek made some great beers. That who bought them out? Who's running them now? Is it
Long Trail bought them out. Then they
Right.
were brewing the Shed, was being brewed out of there.
Right.
Woolaver's organic beers were kind of brewed out of there. That was a
Mhm.
short-lived stint.
Mhm.
And then just recently, I'm sure you guys probably talked about where Harpoon bought Long Trail.
Oh
which
yes.
means,
Yep.
which means then they also bought.
They've
Otter
also
Creek.
bought
Yeah.
Shed and Otter Creek
Yeah,
too. Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Yeah, Catamount too. And I'm sure you. I mean, you're going to University of Vermont in Burlington. Probably went to Vermont Pub and Brewery too. And
You want a story? So
of course I do.
So how does one get into craft beer, right?
Right.
So obviously, I'm in college. I don't have a fake ID. I can't buy beer.
Mhm.
I attend the Sugar Bush Brewers Festival my junior year. My
Mhm.
sophomore year. My sophomore year, I was 19. I
Mhm.
stumbled across the home brewers booth, and I realized for $99,
Mhm.
I can buy a home brewing kit, and I
Mhm.
can buy water, barley, yeast, and hops.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started home brewing in the dorm room.
There you go.
Not the most cleanliest, true story. That was my, I fell into the love and passion of the microbiology, the biochemistry, reading, The Joy of Home Brewing by Charlie Papazian. And that was like read it book, front to back 2 times. And
Sure.
then that's where it all started.
Just relax and have a homebrew.
That's
And
it.
then, I entered my first homebrew competition, just like sent it in. I think I got a silver medal and like another silver medal, one for a Doppelbock, and I think one for a French Saison.
Nice.
And, I got a letter saying, oh, you should join our club. And I ended up never doing it because of college. But I did do an intern at the Vermont Pub and Brewery. And guess who I interned under? John Commish, the guy from Head
Oh,
Top.
there you go.
He was their brewer at the time when I was going to school there as well. So
That's awesome.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together till about 4 years ago when I realized that was him. I said, oh, that's the guy that kind of taught me a little bit about brewing on a professional level.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah.
That's definitely one for the books, literally. That's awesome.
Well, he answered your second question, John.
The first brewery you ever went to?
No. How did you get into the?
How'd you get into it? Yeah, exactly. Then we don't have to say how did you get into brewing, right?
Yeah.
So we know this. All right. So how'd you get into the industry? Like legitimately into the industry, other than obviously interning at Vermont Pub and Brewery under John.
After college, I went to Siebel Institute of Brewing. Did their 10-week master class. Then I went to work for Otter Creek.
Okay.
Did that for a short stall, and then what happened was I'm 21, 22 years old, and this is going back to I graduated in 97, so we're talking like 1999.
Okay.
And if you go west of the Mississippi, you're going to see Fat Tire, Whitmer, Anchor Steam, all those Pete's Wicked.
Sure.
Yep. On the East Coast, you weren't seeing that. You were still seeing Bud Coors, Miller, Sam Adams was just about it. So I thought I got in ahead of the curve, and I actually started a contract brewery, basically my own distribution company, where I brewed my beer at River Horse Brewing Company in Lambertville. At the time, I think it was the Bryan brothers. There's 3 brothers back when that
Sure.
kind of started that operation.
Mm-hmm.
So I contracted my recipe, my packaging on their equipment. And I
missed that space in Lambertville too.
Yeah, that old mill was awesome.
Yeah. Never get a tractor trailer around that turn.
Oh, never, not in a million years, never.
So basically, I became a beverage distributor. It was really what I was distributing. What was it? Old Slugger was Cooperstown Brewing Company, Medieval Brewing Company, upstate New York.
Oh, yeah.
And funny or not, I was the first one that called Sam Cologne, and I was the first one to get Dogfish Head rights in New York.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So I was a distributor for Dogfish Head when they had Raison d'Ert and the India Brown Ale.
Oh yeah.
Old school beers that they don't even make anymore.
India Brown was one of my favorites.
Yeah. So I became more of a craft beer distributor, representing my brand, doing that. So that's how I kind of got into the craft beer scene. And then I got a funny turn, and I came across this small little beverage that cost $2 and was served in an 8-ounce can. And everyone looked at me like, what the F are you doing selling that? It was Red Bull energy drink.
Oh.
So I ended up picking up the rights to distribute Red Bull, and that kind of just took off. So I kind of put the beer on the back burner.
I was going to say, I mean,
A
at
long
that
time
point,
ago.
There's some money there.
Yeah,
A little bit,
so I did Red Bull for a good 9 years until they took back the rights. And then up until 9 years old, a friend of mine called me and said, "Do you want to open a brewery, a brew pub?" She had the restaurant experience. I had the bar. I'm sorry. She had the restaurant experience. I had the brewing experience and the wholesale distribution experience. So we said, let's do it. It was a struggle, right? 20,000 square foot building, 200-seat restaurant, 100-seat banquet facility, mechanical bull, country theme.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Entertainment. And after year 7, we were rocking and rolling, right? Banquets booked, distribution out. Then guess what? COVID hits.
Sure.
Yeah.
How can I manage without getting 300 people in there on a Friday, Saturday night? So unfortunately, we closed the doors. We kind of parted ways. I got the rights to the brewing equipment, and I'm staring at the window like, what do I do? Do I sell the equipment? If you go on probrewer.com, there's 50 breweries that were selling their equipment for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Every brew pub that had a 10 or 15 barrel system that was a little larger than a typical 5 or 7 barrel system you'd see, because their landlords wanted full rent and they just couldn't make it which was nobody's fault.
Sure.
I said, I'm going to sell it for pennies on the dollar and then go work for someone else?
No.
So I ended up putting a business plan together, reformat, and then that's where kind of Quirk Works was born.
That's literally you know what? I mean, it sucks that happened, but it's a great story, to hear what you did, and the fact that you didn't give in and just throw it on the Pro Brewer and get rid of the equipment. But
but then the next question that everyone asks me in the tasting room is, how'd you come up with the name Quirk Works? What is Quirk Works? Why is it Quirk Works? Right?
Yeah.
I must have spent 3-4 weeks. Anytime a good name popped in my head, I'd write it down, right, and then I'd start evaluating. I'm like, I could be the alleyway brewery because I'm in an alleyway. It could be red brick because I see red brick. But now remember, I've been a brewer on and off for 20 some odd years. Mm-hmm. I've seen the industry. I saw the bubble burst back in early 2000s. So, and there's a lot of great beers out there. And I'm like, what can I do different? What point of difference can I bring to my local market that either people are not doing or not aware of? Mm-hmm. And I started thinking about these quirky beer styles, like using everyday ingredients that you may come across in your life and put it in beer, but make sure that beer still tastes like a beer.
Okay.
Right. So for example, very simply put, I don't know anyone, this is called Rain and Forest right here, right? Funky cool label, Rain. We actually capture rainwater from the brewery and use the rainwater in the brewing process. That's
great. That's awesome. Dave, what are you drinking next, by the way, when you finish the Oktoberfest?
You mean this beer?
Oh, that. Oh, okay.
That one.
That's why I'm reaching in there.
Our biggest hits this summer was, here's a beer that's called Alaskan Coconuts.
I had that while I was up there.
So Alaskan Coconuts is a cream ale brewed with corn maze, brewed with coconut puree, a dash of pineapple. We ferment it. And then the secret here is we recondition it back on Frosted Flakes cereal.
Really?
Because we want to kind of wash that sweetness that's off that cornflake and re-sweeten back the beer a little bit, which makes this perfect hot summer day, easy drinking beer.
That's awesome. I got to get up there.
So that's kind of where we're trying to push the envelope with these types of things. Like we did a mango banana. Yeah, we can do our fruit beers, but our fruit beers aren't based off like a kettle sour or a gose. Ours was actually based off of a German Imperial Hefeweizen. So the beer's already started with that banana, that clove, flavor to it. Mm-hmm. So we're able to enhance that in our styles of what we did with our fruited beers.
That's awesome.
So
that's great.
trying to do stuff that's different. But again, they taste like beer. They don't taste like a naked Odwalla, fruit smoothie in the morning. Like, is it really alcohol? Is there alcohol in there? Is there pulp?
I've had those.
There's plenty of breweries out there that do that.
Yes.
And
what I'll say is,
we've discussed them before on the show.
They
We have discussed them
ad nauseum.
But my only comment, and I've never heard your show to say this, but they make gorgeous pictures, like beer porn.
Oh
pictures,
yeah, absolutely.
Like the colors.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're perfect beer porn pictures.
Yeah,
perfect beer porn pictures. But hey, you know what? There's a time and a place for everything, right? All of the fruit smoothie beers. My younger daughter loves fruit smoothie beers and sours and even kettle sours and some gozes and even a sour double IPA. She'll love, but she can't wrap her head around a Schwartz beer or an alt beer or an old ale or. So it's the gimmicky stuff, and that's fine. But I know that's singling her out because there's plenty of people that are like that. There's a place for everything. Yeah. And there's a beer for everybody. So is what it is. But everything you're talking about, it's phenomenal. I just want to drink everything. I want to actually get in the car when we're done with the show and take a ride up to the brewery. Have you sit there? I'll be up there. It'll be about 2 hours for me to get up there. Right?
Pick me up.
We put a new beer.
I'll pick Dave on the way and we'll go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes you just, the inspiration just hits you. And we did an apple pie Cinnabon beer.
Oh, wow.
So it was based off of we used the same base of the Hefeweizen,
Okay.
but like apple pie, so apple, cinnamon, and like the same ingredients that they use to bake those Cinnabons that you find at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put like a brown sugar rimmer on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just dynamite.
Are you using the same hef yeast though, or are you using a different strain?
We use the Lallemand dry Hefeweizen yeast for that one because we're small. We're just 4 months. We don't have a lot of distribution, so I don't want to carry 6 yeast strands. So we kind of burn them 1 or 2 turns, and then variety.
Right.
Today's consumer is all about the variety.
Sure. Absolutely.
You saw our samplers. Like there's incredible plumbing made, like 10 different custom made samplers where we give the flights of 4 or 5 ounces, and every 2 weeks we have about 2 new beers on tap. So we like to rotate and get the same people back, or check out something new.
Right. It's definitely a "what have you done for me lately" community out there, and to a point. There's always going to be a staple. Somebody's always going to have a staple that they want, right? Yeah, but other than that 1 or 2 staples that person, that individual wants, everything else is going to be a "what have you done for me lately."
So for me, it's like 12 beers on tap. 6 of them are, Oktoberfest, double hazy, single hazy, Pilsner, traditional classic styles. Sure. But I try and push the envelope on the other 6 that people come in and be like, I said, you want to try something that you'll never try anywhere else? Try our Partageil beer that was brewed with drunken Italian cherry soaked in bourbon. And I
saw that on your website, and I want that beer. Yeah, do you have it? Because I'll come up there soon.
No, we'll have to bring. We're gonna bring.
He was out of it when I was there.
Text me when you do it next, and I will be there because I gotta have that beer.
Yeah.
And that was a Partageil beer.
That was the second half of the Partageil.
What was the first running?
Belgian triple.
Nice.
So we kind of cheat. You know what? I'm not going to say cheat because beer's about art, and there's no rules. We can do what we want. So technical Partageil was the first grain bill was more of the 2-row Pilsner malt. But for the second one, we dumped in like 15, 20 pounds of roasted or Black Prince, and then a lot of caramel 80, C80. So the second beer brought in all that caramel color. So the Belgian triple is that golden blonde, but we dumped in maybe 100 pounds of caramel black malt to get that ambery 4% Partageil style.
So you did a big beer to start, but you didn't necessarily just go with the second runnings of that same grist. You added.
We added the crystal malts and to just get that amber, a little more fuller bodied for that 4%. But we can do that, and that's awesome. It's like
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's myself. I also have, I don't want to take all the credit. I do have a brewer that I'm a professional brewer by trade. A gentleman, Chris Rome, he's a local guy in town with me. He was actually, it's funny. He was Captain Lawrence's second brewer. Years ago, ahead of his time. Again, then got married, had kids, moved up here a little closer.
Well, how that goes. So.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So he was Captain Lawrence's second brewer ever.
Yeah. I believe, he was he was one of the very first when they were at their old facility in Pleasantville.
Sure.
He made the move to Elmsford, and then life got in the way of a brewing career.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now his kids are older, and he's able to, kind of, it's his passion. So we kind of are like a two-headed monster, right? It's like, what do you want to do? What I want to do, and then we always come up with something better. It's never what he wants or what I want. It's always like something in between that's better than what we both thought of.
Two-headed monster. You don't have a two-headed monster on your wall. No. You got a lot of monsters on that wall.
Yeah, you need to put a two-headed monster up there. If you guys are indeed a two-headed monster, you need to do that.
Isn't this guy on the wall?
Is he on the wall?
Yeah, he looked like one of the ones that was on the wall behind you.
No, this was done. I don't know if you can see it. We had a local.
This thing is amazing.
Yeah, we had a local Danbury artist create this. So it's just a wall mural of like this crazy, cockamamie
awesome.
designs. I mean,
that's awesome.
It's like, for example, like, let's see, like here's a perfect example.
Yeah.
See this.
If you remember,
fist and roots.
Remember my comment on that one?
So to me, that's money is the root of all evil.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that thing wraps around the chill chest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, you've got some really interesting can art as well. Where this one you got this kind of duck-billed guy with a top hat fighting one-eyed tentacled monsters. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because this one's like Rain and Forest, and I bought that in the Oktoberfest. I reached for this. I thought it was the Oktoberfest because of the coloration. Yeah. But Oktoberfest, well, come on, it's got pretzels and accordions.
Of course. Well, why wouldn't you put them on there?
And steins, horns,
of course.
It's all oompa. But really interesting. It's really interesting artwork that you've got going.
Nice.
Yeah. I think. I mean, the formula for success is first and foremost a good quality beer, right? It's got to be well balanced from start to finish. Like,
absolutely.
We've all tried stuff where we question and be like, "Oof, that's not," maybe they were off or whatever it is. But right behind that is artwork, can design, marketing is really almost equally as important in today's beer world with so many brewers out there. The shelf space, competing for visibility, package consistency. All my labels are the same, so that like wherever you go, one label shows the name, one label shows the one can shows the name, one name with the description, and the other can shows the graphic. Like that's why I want it to be presented on a store shelf. Like there's been detail thought out in that process. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we shop with our eyes more than anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, and 100% true too. It has to be great liquid, but it has to be great marketing just as well. This show. I mean, if you're operating a taproom only brewery, which let's face it, there are a bunch of them out there. That's fine, and it's fine. If that's a business model, it's a business model. It's fine. You don't have to really worry about marketing all that much, other than marketing your own space to get people in the door. But as far as the can art, but yeah, when you're talking about cans and packages in off-prem locations, you definitely have to be all over that marketing. That's 100% true. So, but that's great. Let's talk about the space a minute. First of all, you have a 15-barrel system, I'm assuming?
15-barrel system. Right now, we have 2 30-barrel fermenters, 3 15-barrel fermenters. Mm-hmm. It gives us about 2,000 barrels capacity. But remember, I took this equipment from the brew pub that I had, and we had 8 15-barrel single-wall serving tanks.
Okay.
So right now, 4 of them are in the walk-in, treating as like lagering, cold conditioning tanks.
Okay, fair enough.
And then we have a few outside that we can separate and start doing sours and Brett stuff and not contaminate and cross over. Nice. So but none of that stuff
is out.
Keeping
them just for Brett, just for souring and everything else.
But none of that stuff's out yet. We're just 4 months in and
playing with it. And
we'll get
else.
There. Crawl.
Are they all uni tanks, no brights, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. That's really. Yeah. So you have all them working. That's some decent liquid that you're putting out there. I mean, it's not like you're operating like a 4-barrel system out of the.
No. And in the math, I did the numbers. The labor to do a 5-barrel or 7-barrel system of, I kind of wish I had what I really wish I had on my wish list is a 5-barrel kettle. Because my kettle where my steam jackets are, I could my smallest batch I could do is a 9-barrel batch.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I do 9 barrels are either because it's something unique, special, or I'm hitting that high gravity, right? I want that over 10% beer. My mash tank isn't big enough to do a 15-barrel 10% alcohol beer. So
you got all that. You got that huge mash in there. You're only getting. Yeah.
So for us, I wish I had just a 5-barrel kettle so I can like take a 15-barrel mash and run it and divert it into the 5-barrel kettle. And then really make some super high gravity.
That'd be cool.
Aged stuff. So it's on my wish list to kind of call it a double kettle.
There you go.
Right.
Gotcha. That's awesome. That's a really cool idea. All right, let's talk about. You talked about some of the beers. So what are the ones that are your staples? What are your flagships that you're?
I necessarily
don't.
If
there are any, but
yeah, exactly. I'm always looking for something new to kind of pique the interest of the consumer. So, like that Partaguile, that was great. We want to bring that back. We're brewing.
Please do.
Yes. It's everyone asks me because I've been brewing for 10 years, 9 years at the other place. And even here, people come up to you and say, Rick, what's your favorite beer? I don't have a favorite. That's like, they're all my babies, right? As a brewer, you say they're all your babies. So it's like, you're asking me, do I love my son more than I love my daughter?
Right.
No, I love them equally.
Mm-hmm.
But my answer is this. The one I am most proud of is so-and-so. So the one I'm most proud of is a beer that I developed over 9 years ago, and it's evolved. And at this new brewery, it's taken on a new evolution. So let's go back 9-10 years. I did an old ale. It was an English old ale.
Oh boy!
Right? It was 6.7% alcohol, a ton of crystal malt, and the one thing we did different, we didn't control the fermentation temperatures. So we just pitched the yeast, turned off the uni tank, and it got up to like 86 degrees during peak fermentation.
Oh, wow!
So it brought in a lot more of these like fruity esters.
Sure.
Beer. And the beer actually won 3rd place at the World International Beer Competition in Rhode Island one year.
Nice.
I mean, I'm going back like 14 years ago now, a really long time ago. Mm-hmm. So then I opened up the place in the Bull and Barrel that I had in the restaurant brew pub. So I took that old ale recipe and we turned it into an imperial old ale. So that 6.7% just became 9.4%. Same recipe. Just beefed it up. Did that. Great. Then I had the idea of no. After 9.4, let's age it in bourbon and oak.
I'm there. I mean, before you said it, I was right.
So the beer took on a new phase that was called Old Bourbon Oak. The beer had the name Old Bourbon Oak. At the new brewery that we just brewed on Friday, because I rebranded everything, it's now called Aged Beauty.
That's
so
great
Aged
name.
Beauty is going to be a 9% barrel blend aged imperial old ale with fermentation temperatures in the 80 degrees and so on. So that's kind of going to age over 2 months, and we'll probably bring that out Christmas.
All right. You need to let me know the day you're bringing it out.
Yeah.
Because I will be there that day.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you had me at Old Ale. So.
Yeah. So, but that's the iteration of years of brewing to take this one beer and it has a story behind it. And it's awesome.
Right. That's an awesome story. That's awesome. And I definitely need to drink that. So
it's neat to see a beer grow and change along with its brewer.
Absolutely.
Right. As you learn things, as your experience builds and expands, you do the same to the beer.
Yeah.
That you've done through the years. And that's really neat to see. Because there's, you've seen breweries where you've got a brewer that gets so stuck in the beers they've been making since the 80s. The beers never change. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's a phenomenal thing. Yeah. Sierra Nevada Pale, I never want that beer to change.
That beer never needs to change.
It doesn't need to change.
Allagash White.
Yeah. Why?
Don't change that.
Don't ever change it. But then there's sometimes where, you've been doing the same thing. It probably needs to evolve a little bit, or at least have other iterations.
Right.
So it's really, it's neat to see and hear a story like that, where you've taken this beer that you've been doing for so long, and now in your new place, have a new way to it and a new name, which is cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, we need to get up there for that.
We should talk about the names. We should talk about because everyone
talk
loves
about
beer names are fun. Like
Well, yeah, because I was going to ask.
Absolutely.
Rain and Forest. Forest is 2 R's. Why does it have 2 R's, Rick?
I'm shitty a speller.
It's that simple. Okay.
Spell check didn't catch it.
That's awesome. That is, and you know what? Never fix it, please.
No,
Exactly.
no, just that alone, done. Even leave it as
Exactly.
Please never fix that. I thought there was a story behind it that you had a friend whose name was Forrest, and you had to honor him.
I
or
was
you
a
like
big
Forrest
fan of
Gump.
Forrest Gregg back in the day, and yeah,
That's amazing. I love
yeah,
that.
that's great.
So, but no, all our beers, I go off the oxymoron theme of names,
Okay.
like cracked perfection,
Mhm.
blurred transparency,
Mhm.
right? Hazy intuitions,
They're-
subtle virtues. Like these are all the names that I've laundry listed them, and I hear them, I just write them down and be like, that will become a name someday.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta have your notes and your laundry list of names and find the beer that you're brewing, find the name that fits perfectly with it, and bing bang.
Yeah.
Bing, yeah. That's awesome. I like that. That's great though.
Yeah.
Shitty speller. That's great. Gotta love it.
I honestly thought there was a story behind it.
Well, there is. He just said it.
He said it.
My second beer, I'm just throwing it out there. Clearly, you're drinking the recaptured rainwater. Was the
Rain and Forest.
Rain and Forest, right?
And this beer, it's got like almost a creamy mouthfeel to it.
So we didn't talk about the depth of that beer. So
Yeah.
that's what is it? It's a 9% IPA. So call it a triple. It's not a 9%.
It's almost a
Could you
triple,
call
yeah.
it a 9? Could you call it
Fair
a
enough.
triple?
It's 9.4. So
I've seen some 6.8% IPAs being called doubles now. So 9% can be called a triple.
But you know what I failed to mention is that beer is aged on raw oak, not bourbon, not rum barrels, raw American oak. Now we use oak chips. I didn't use barrels because it's an IP. I didn't want it to age that long. I aged the oak and steeped it in boiling water, and we added the hop sack bags of oak into the fermentation process to get some oaky flavor. And that beer's 100 IBUs, but it doesn't drink like 100 IBUs.
It does not. That's surprising
because
me.
that oak kind of tames it a little bit.
Tames it down a little bit. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
So it's an oak-aged rainwater.
in the 60s, I would say. But it's got like a creamy mouthfeel to it. What do you attribute that to? How did you get that? Is it just the malt bill exerting itself?
What's that?
It's the creamy mouthfeel to this. Is that just is that like the malt bill exerting itself, or
the rest? It's more like I call it an American IPA recipe, not a West Coast style. So it's got a little more caramel color. Like I can see, it's
not quite an English IPA, but it's got a little bit more malt forwardness to it.
And it's we dry hop it traditionally 60, through the fermenter, through the cone on the top. It's not a hazy whirlpool type of hop additions. It's old school.
Beautiful color.
Yeah, it's old school.
Yeah, that's a British IPA color right there, right?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah,
very nice. Just for the registering on the show, I'm drinking my second beer. I'm a D9 Brewing out of North Carolina, Tangerine Session Ale, Swell Rider. So there's a girl in a bikini on the label, but she's in water. There was a girl in a bikini on another beer we had on the show recently.
Beer. Oh yeah, but she wasn't wearing the top, but she was facing away.
Facing the other way, right? Yeah. Exactly.
I have one of those in the fridge, actually.
Do you now?
Yes, I do. Actually, I have 2 of them left.
You know what that brings up, and you might have tried it I don't know if you tried it in the tasting room. We have beers on nitro. We pour beers on nitro.
No, I didn't have a nitro beer.
We do. We have a cream ale on nitro. We have an English pub style that's on nitro. And
no, I did have that. It
allows me to kind of cross over into the black and tan world, right? The Guinness Harp or the Guinness Bass. Mm-hmm. So I do something where in the summer, we're past summer now. So like I got away from those fruited beers.
And we got like 3 days of summer left. So
yeah, technically we would put like the fruit punch or like the Hawaiian punch Hefeweizen on the bottom, and I'd float the nitro cream ale on top. So I get this beautiful like red, beer on the bottom of our tall, Mardi Gras type glass, and then I put the cream ale.
Oh, a hurricane.
Hurricane glass.
Yeah, hurricane. Yeah, sorry, hurricane type glass. And everyone is wowed by appearance. Like they look at it,
talk about beer
they want
pouring,
to take
right?
a picture, and boom, it's on social media.
Sure, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Gotta
smart.
love it. Gotta love it. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I definitely get it. You know what? I mean, the more you're talking, Rick, seriously, I'm like trying to figure out just when I can drive up to Danbury. Clearly on a Wednesday, you know.
This is what I do to John. I beer travel.
Mm-hmm.
I pick out one brewery, send it to John, get him on the show, and then make him want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
my MO.
And then he might go. Except you still haven't made it till Stavaticus.
I have not gotten to. I have not gotten up to Stavaticus. We had him on the show last year, but I've been up there 3 times since. I just haven't gotten there. I just haven't gotten there. No, but I mean Danbury's a little bit easier to get to than Amesbury, Massachusetts. So so I can.
It's less than 2 hours away. So
I can get up to see. I can get to see Rick.
Oh, and Rick, by the way,
and I definitely got to bring Matt up to see Rick too, because that will be a day.
Oh, that'll be
in and of itself.
Yeah, you'll probably get bored as they talk.
No, I won't.
Yeah, no, you won't. But Rick, I got to say, the barbecue place that you sent us to, down in Danbury, they're doing some good queue there in Danbury.
They're new, and they're getting better. They're getting better every day.
You know, they're just as new as you are. They're 4 months old as well.
Exactly.
Right? They opened around the same time you did. They're doing some great work. I can't remember their name right now.
Farm Boys Barbecue is what they were called.
Boys.
And we went over there. We took over 4 or 5 watermelons. I skinned them, peeled them, and we smoked the watermelon in his smoker. We were going to do a smoked watermelon beer. Now this is where, you know, you're pushing the envelope, and like, all right, we smoked 4 watermelons, we pureed it, we filtered it, we mixed it, you know, we tried to make a beer. It tasted like we were drinking a burnt matchstick.
Really?
It was we probably should have smoked 1 watermelon.
Oh, was there sulfur, or was it just that?
No, it was we smoked all 4 watermelon, and we didn't even have any sweetness to balance the smoke, and it was one of those, you know, epic fails. But we can talk about it because
we could make a nice Rogan beer. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, we're going to have our fails. Like I tried, I have a pear tree in my house. I actually last year took all the pears, wild fermentation, let it sit before we were open, right in my basement.
Right. You let it rot here. Let it rot just a little bit.
It turned to vinegar. So it's like, you know, I didn't have the equipment there. I did it at home.
John, when you go up, you'll have to bring him an Andre.
Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. Yeah.
So there's a brewery down here, Carton, that does a roasted watermelon beer. Right. It's one of his Highlander Vices.
It's a Highlander Vice. Yeah.
It's a Highlander Vice.
So you got to understand, like, because this brewery, Carton Brewing. Have you heard of Carton Brewing?
Of course.
Okay, you know. So he's in the Atlantic Highlands, right? And all of his Berliner Weisses are not Berliner Weisses because he's not in Berlin. He's in the Atlantic Highlands, so they're Highlander Weisses. So there you go.
And you know, I love the respect there.
Yeah.
That he's not going to call it Berliner Weiss because he's not in Berlin. That's respect. That's respect for the style, as far as I'm concerned.
So, I think the only thing we haven't talked about is the food truck and food.
Please do that.
You said National Pizza Day. We're talking about pizzas. Unfortunately, I can't. I want to do pizzas out of the food truck, but I don't have the high temp oven to get the to cook the bread, to cook that 500 degree.
Oh, get that beautiful crust.
Yeah. So instead, we do items like buffalo chicken wontons.
Nice.
Black truffle polenta Parmesan fries. Like finger
Yes, we're going to Connecticut tomorrow.
Did you have Brussels sprouts on the list too, or
honey sriracha, crispy Brussels sprouts?
Yeah,
and probably, everyone has said this: the best beer battered pickle spears with homemade dill infused ranch. So, like it's a gourmet pickle, kind of like a shrimp cocktail. You just dip it, we fry it, but the ranch dressing is homemade from scratch, out of this world. Like, I put that shit on everything. Type of like comment with the ranch dressing.
And Eli Manning is your spokesperson for Frank's Red Hot, right? Yeah, there you
go. We would have eaten there, but they were pretty much calling last call for the trailer because we were they're almost calling last call for the beer at that point when we arrived. It was a nice, John, you remember, it was a nice long tour starting down in Stratford and then all the way.
You started in Stratford and up, yeah.
Because
what he does is when he and Kerry go on these weekends, and I do the same thing when Jess and I go out. I'm texting him and sending the pictures or whatever, and it's step by step. He's letting me know where he is, so I know every move he's making, and he's the same. So it'll be the same in 2 weeks when I'm in Pittsburgh, right? Exactly. So, but anyway, go ahead, Dave. You were saying you were. It was last call.
I was done. I
thought you were continuing with that.
No. That's why we went to the barbecue place because we couldn't eat there. So I need to get back there earlier in the night, so we can eat at the.
I got to get up there. We got to get up there. We'll do that. And I do have to. We'll actually talk. Well, once we're done with the show and we sign off, we'll actually BS a little bit. I'll take it right up there with Matt too.
Yeah, text me. Let me know. I'll make sure I'm here. Let me know when you guys.
We'll have to figure that out. So definitely.
But yeah, we were talking about pizzas, top 3 items. Like what I like, to me, it's wood fired pizza is my go-to. Like if I'm doing pizza,
right?
Really?
But what we do is, I owned a restaurant for 7 years, so I have a passion for food where I worked in the kitchen and kind of formulated some recipes. But what I would do, like we were talking about the spent grain, right? Spent grain, we send it. Every brewer sends it to a farmer, right? For pigs, cows, you name it. We take a little bit of our spent grain and put it in our dough to make a spent grain flatbread pizza.
That's awesome.
That sounds awesome.
So
I've had spent grain pretzels, but I've never had a spent grain pizza crust.
Spent grain flatbread, one of my favorite pizzas. Now I'm kind of jumping ahead. We're going right into this right now.
Yeah, you see, we didn't need to do the segue. He's doing it for us.
He's doing the segue for us. So okay, so on this note, so Rick is talking about. How he's making these spent grain flatbread pizzas, brewer's grain, and
it is National Pepperoni Pizza.
And it is National Pepperoni Pizza Day. So, on that note, tonight's top 3 list is top 3 favorite pizza toppings. We're doing top 3 favorite pizza toppings. So, Rick, take it away with your 3, please.
All right, my first has to be fresh regatta.
1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1,
or no order whatsoever,
or no order. It's up to you. So.
I have to go with my top because that's my top.
Start at the top and work your way down.
Yeah,
good. That's fine.
So the top it's like fresh regatta with a little red pepper flake, a little lemon, but it's crispy Brussels sprouts with a fig jam drizzle.
Oh,
Brussels sprouts, fig jam, fresh regatta.
I can see that.
So
you got the saltiness from the regatta. The lemon citrus, and then the crispy Brussels sprouts, that earthy, and then that fig jam is that sweetness that brings it all together.
So regatta, red pepper flakes, fig jam, Brussels, and what?
Well, that's the whole pizza. That makes that whole topping on that pizza.
No, you said the citrusy. What was that?
Lemon.
There's a little lemon in the regatta.
Lemon in the regatta. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's probably my go-to favorite little flatbread pizza that I, wish I could make again at the restaurant. I like a bacon ranch. I like a BLT pizza.
Interesting.
You
put bacon. You put lettuce on top of it?
Nah, arugula.
Arugula. Got to put arugula on a pizza.
Yeah. It's a vegetable.
It's a vegetable.
Arugula, sliced cherry tomatoes with that same regatta. And then the carnivore of me, I'd love barbecue, but if it was a pizza, I would do like a teriyaki flank steak, ranch drizzle, arugula, garlic.
That's interesting.
Flank steak.
Teriyaki
flank steak, arugula, little regatta, drizzle of ranch and garlic, fresh garlic.
Ranch.
Well, roasted garlic.
That's key.
Yeah, that garlic oil.
Roasting brings out a little bit of sweetness and nuttiness in the garlic. Love roasted garlic.
Well, I just got my menu for the 3 pizzas that I'm cooking this weekend. So.
In your pizza oven, John?
In my neighbor's Stu's Pizza Oven, actually.
There you go.
So, all right, Dave, let's have at it. Yours.
The first one I'm going to mention is not going to be very, very popular.
Yeah.
It is a divisive kind of thing. And yes, I will put pineapple on a pizza, but I will only do it with bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Bacon and pineapple is this magical mixture on top of a pizza. People love their Hawaiian pies, and I just don't think ham can stand up to the pineapple. Pineapple completely takes over everything. But you do ham and bacon, and it's to me, it's a magical thing. Mm-hmm. I like it, and I will defend it. I will fight you. Go ahead. I know people hate pineapple on pizza, but it works. It works.
So bacon and pineapple is what you're putting on.
Bacon and pineapple. Another one, and many people have heard me say this many times in the show. I lived in Rhode Island for a year, and one of the most striking things about Rhode Island is how awful their pizza is. It was so hard to find a good pizza, especially a plain pizza. I will always judge a pizza place by just their plain, red sauce and cheese. It's a simple thing. If you can't nail that, what else can you do? However, there was this one place in Rhode Island. I can't remember the name of it now, but they did a pie, and it was a white pie.
Mm-hmm.
So it was ragout and mousse, but it also had feta on it. It had mushrooms, roasted red peppers, roasted garlic. This was the most delicious pizza I ate in Rhode Island, and I still think it's one of the best pizzas I've had. But being a pizza purist, one of my favorite things on a pizza is sausage. And I'm not talking when they grill a sausage, slice it, and just put the slices on top. Mm-hmm. I'm talking take it out of the casing, put the little chunks on there.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, you can put some roasted garlic on there. You can put some roasted red peppers on there. There's other things you can put with it, but if you're going to do sausage, please do it.
I love when you open the casing and you start cooking it and you see the little fennel seeds.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing, and that's sausage pie is one of my favorite pies. But every time I go to a pizzeria for the first time, I'm going to order a plain. Mm-hmm. I want to see what they can do. I want to
taste their plain pie.
Yeah, I want to see what the sauce is like. I want to see what the crust is like. And it's funny that we're doing this on National Pepperoni Pizza Day, and we're doing it with a brewer who's in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And we're in Jersey. Connecticut invented pizza. Right, a couple GIs came back from World War II. They had the tomato pies there. They lived in Hartford. They came back. They opened a restaurant, and they started making pizzas. And they did it the American way. So the first American pizza pie was done in the United States. But year after year after year, usually New Jersey wins it quite often, but New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York every year.
Sure. Those three states, the tri-state area
is the pizza capital of the world. The pizza capital state is usually one of those three states every single year. So it's pretty cool that we're doing it with someone from Connecticut.
That is
considering it was born in Connecticut.
It was. There you go.
So.
All right. Mine.
Yours.
Mine. Here we go. Ready? My number 3. I'm going to do 3, 2, 1, right? My number 3.
Can I have an honorable mention?
Yeah, have an honorable mention. Go ahead. Wait. No. I'm doing my 3 first. Then you can have your honorable mention.
I can't.
Because undoubtedly, one of his honorable mention will be one of my 3.
I doubt it. I doubt Gorgonzola and pear is one of your 3.
All right, go ahead. Put it on. Imagine if it was. He just said it, so it didn't matter.
Well, candied walnuts, throw that on there.
Yes.
Candy walnuts are great.
Absolutely. Toss that on there.
You got it. All right. So here are my 3. My number 3, pepperoni, bacon, red roasted peppers, and pineapple.
Is that your first one? Is that
all
3?
Is that 4 of them? Is it 4 different ones or one pie?
That's my number 3. It's one pie.
That's one
combo. It's a combo.
That's an interesting combo.
Pepperoni, bacon, red roasted peppers, and pineapple.
I may have to try that.
I did that. That was actually one of the pizzas on the menu at 381 forever. I think you had it. I think you did.
I probably had it.
We called it the Jersey Sunset, is what we called it.
But I was probably about 5 beers at the time.
Probably.
And probably didn't taste it.
Right.
But the Paragorgonzola is what I ordered all the time when I was there.
The Paragorgonzola was amazing. Yeah.
So the bar he ran, what was it, on Thursdays?
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays was a 2-for-1 pie day.
Mm-hmm.
So they drummed up a lot of business there. We all on a Tuesday night. Wednesdays at work were always rough when you went to 381 on Tuesday because you're tossing down a couple of pies, drinking beer to wash it down with. And John wasn't known for specializing in low gravity beers on his taps.
Not at all.
No. So I missed the Sharks. I missed the Sharks, John.
Yeah, I do too. That was fun. That was a fun time. Anyway, so pepperoni, bacon, red roasted peppers, pineapple. That's my number 3. My number 2. Here we go. Regular red pie, but sopressata.
Okay.
Sweet. I'll get there. I'll get why it's not hot here. Sweet sopressata, red roasted peppers, and hot honey.
I love hot honey in a pie. Now, when you said pepperoni earlier, my question is always the big rounds or the little ones that curl up and make little cups?
The little ones that curl up and make little cups.
Because those little ones that curl up in a little cup, when you have hot honey, it holds that honey like a little thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
I used to add whenever I make a pie at home. If I make it in the oven, if I make it on the grill, it's a different story. If I make it in the oven, I will actually fry the pepperoni in a pan so they curl up before I put them on the pizza.
So you get those little cups of pepperoni.
So you get the pepperoni, exactly. But anyway, so
I haven't eaten, and now I'm going to a pizza place for dinner tonight. It's like
there you go. So this number 2 pie is sopressata, red roasted peppers, hot honey. Not hot sopressata because between the hot honey and hot, it's too much.
Yeah,
you got to have the heat from the honey.
You need balance,
and then you need balance. Yeah. And then my number 1 pie. It's always been my number 1 pie. It will always be my number 1 pie. A white pie, but not with ricotta, with impastata. Super smooth. Okay, so
that's a hard thing to find.
It's a hard thing to find, but I get it and I do it. Or you could sit there if you got a half an hour, you can whip ricotta into impastata.
You can, and then you've got. But are you going to put like broccoli on it? Are you going to put spinach on it? Or
I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to put on it.
Oh, you're not done yet.
I'm not done yet.
You know, because white pie with clams, right? You know, is
oh no,
that's a Connecticut. That's a Connecticut thing.
No, white pie with clams. But white pie with impastata, roasted garlic, sausage, peppers, and onions.
Throw some black olives on there.
There you go. That's what I make. A white pie with impastata, roasted garlic, but roasted garlic, like not just pieces of garlic, like roasted garlic, and put the bulbs all over the pie. So it's like you're going home and not breathing on anything.
Dracula's not coming anywhere near you.
One whole bulb roasted all over the pie.
So they take the clothes out, squeeze them all over.
Squeeze them all over, right?
That's the one thing about roasted garlic.
Fennel sausage, peppers, and onions.
You do the roasted garlic right. You can just squeeze those things out, and you can almost spread it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, I need some roasted garlic.
So now I need pizza. I need pizza.
You know what the pizza I had? So now I live in Hudson.
You just had a slice. You had a slice.
I did have a slice, but it's
it's
Hudson County pizza.
We should all go into business and create these gourmet pizzas, and sell them to the supermarket so everyone can take them home. You don't just go to the store. We have to come up with
we go.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
Frozen pizza.
And every pizza on the box will have a beer pairing.
Oof. Recommendation.
There we go.
Nice. That's not a bad idea.
We regionalize it, right? We regionalize it so that Quirk Works is up in the Northeast, right?
Mm-hmm. You got Coastal Brew Works down in Jersey.
It's
awkward tan lines.
Something to talk about.
Awkward
tan lines. There you go.
With every friggin' beer.
There you go.
I don't know. The white pie, I think building sandcastles would go with the white pie.
I think it might just hold up to that white pie.
I think it would hold up pretty well.
More on that later. Anyway.
And seriously, this beer with pizza just
I got to try that. I mean, it looked fantastic. The two you're drinking it. I got to have. It's
a damn good beer. It held up so well for pepperoni pizza.
And I'm not the only one, right? I'm not the only one that says that. We're in beer season right now. Okay, we're at the beginning of beer season. September.
Before you beer season. John, before you go, because I just hold it up to the camera because we go audio. We have the audio. I was holding up Festive Frenzy, the Oktoberfest lager from Quirk.
The Oktoberfest lager, yeah, absolutely.
It's not all visual.
It's not all visual. Yeah, the whoever's watching it now, and they can, and sometimes we actually do get a lot of people that will notice like a surge in the video watching once the audio goes up, because the people will watch it and they'll see a lot, they'll hear a lot of stuff. Wait, I got to see that, and they'll go to the Facebook or the YouTube channel and they'll watch the video then again. So.
And we may or may not do things visually just to prompt them to do so.
Just to do that, right? Exactly. So there might be a little behavior behind that, but in any event, this is beer season, and it's my favorite time of year, right? So I mean, all the beers that are coming out, and it's just malt forward after malt.
Every year is beer season. It's just malty beer season now.
Right, exactly. Well, but actual beer season though, it starts in September and it goes through St. Patrick's Day, right?
But
and then it tails off a little bit through the summer.
It starts in September and goes through September, John.
It starts in September and goes. It starts September 1st and goes through August 31st.
Yes, and as a brewer, I put my foot down and said, "I'm not brewing a pumpkin beer." Right?
Thank you.
For me, the whole theme of Quirk Works is do not do what everyone else is doing. Mm-hmm. Like, if you come up in 2 weeks, you might get a maple praline style beer.
Oh, there you go.
No one's doing that.
Calendar 2 weeks,
right? A maple praline brown ale. No one's doing that.
There's maple beers out there, but maple praline, no, I haven't seen it. And so you won't be on our show in 2-3 weeks where we do our pumpkin ale show, where I sit there the whole time talking about how much I dislike pumpkin ales.
Well, neither of us love pumpkin ales, but we do a pumpkin ale show every year, and we talk about what's out there now, and we bring a different guest on every year to get their take on pumpkin ales. And that's what we do. So, but there's a lot more to the show than just talking about pumpkin ales. So it's just one part of the show is all it really is. So.
And I'll try to not discuss why pumpkin ales exist. They exist on that show. No, I will. You know I will. They existed on a complete lark where someone wanted to resurrect an old style. And the Pilgrims made pumpkin ales because they had nothing else to brew with. And when they had barley to brew with, they said this pumpkin crap is disgusting and stopped brewing it. Sure. And now pumpkin ales aren't even pumpkin ales. They're just pumpkin spice.
They're just cinnamon spice. Cinnamon, clove, allspice.
Yep. A little bit of ginger sometimes if you know what you're doing. Maybe a little star anise. Who knows if you want to get a little crazy. But basically, you're brewing for Starbucks is what you're doing here. And those ones that people that drink the ones that like dessert and not coffee.
We have a comment. I need to throw it up really quick. Chuck Aaron, happy 101st episode. So there you go. Yeah, Chuck was busy last week. I want to let everybody know. Chuck Aaron from Jersey.
We wanted him on the show.
Chuck was supposed to be on the show. He was going to be we had 4 guests on the show this week. He was going to be the 5th guest. And he was going to be right smack dab in the middle of the 4 guests that were on. And he was busy. He had an event that he had to attend, so he could not attend. But so this is him saying, "Happy 101st episode." Thanks, Chuck. We appreciate it.
And Chuck and his wife delivered one of my favorite moments ever on the show.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
That was funny.
But in any event, we talked about we're gonna make a pumpkin apple. We're gonna make one that's completely different than anybody else, and it's only gonna be in the tap room. And it's not going to be until next year, obviously, since
you won't have a tap room until
next year. It'll be fine then. So, but it'll be something to enjoy, and it'll only be a small little bit of it, and that's it. When it's done, it's done. And hold on, and
he's only doing it because Jess is making him.
Well, I have to do something.
Jess is going to make it
exactly. Cheers, Aaron. Chuck Aaron says, "Cheers, guys! Cheers,
Chuck!
Cheers.
So Chuck is the owner brewer of Jersey Girl Brewing, just outside of Hackettstown. Though his mailing address is Hackettstown, but he's
just outside of Hackettstown. His mailing address is Bud Lake. He's in Mount Olive.
Yes. Well, Bud Lake is just a division of Mount Olive Township.
Right? Sure. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Chuck, can you comment on that?
Yes. No, Bud Lake is part of Mount Olive. But he's considers himself Hackettstown.
Right. Well, because there's 2 other breweries in Hackettstown, so it's the 3 of them right there. So, and one of them, and 2 of them, Chuck being one of them, has been on the show before. The other one has not. And I mean, he might be on the show soon.
Matt Ziegler's done the show from Zigmeister in Hackettstown. We're trying to get Joe from Manskirt on.
Joe Fisher from Manskirt will be on soon. Yes, he'll be coming up in about shortly. Leave it at
shortly.
Shortly. So anyway,
no, he doesn't wear shorts. He wears a skirt.
He wears skirts. He doesn't wear shorts. He wears skirts. Manskirt Brewing. He wears a kilt. He wears a kilt. He
wears a working kilt.
Kilt.
And the funny story, I was at the brewery once, and they were bottling.
Bottling.
Yeah, he doesn't can. He was bottling the barley wine, and he was wearing jeans. And I said, Joe, why are you in jeans? Where's the working kilt? He's like, well, we're brewing right off the bottom of the bright. We're bottling right off the bottom of the bright. I'm going to be doing a lot of bending over, and I like my staff to stay here. There's things they don't need to see.
Fair enough, Joe. Fair enough. So, anyway, all right, Rick. What's coming up soon, other than the beer that the Maple Praline Brown in 2 weeks that I will definitely be at in Danbury for.
Which Maple Praline, the Apple Cinnabon has been a big hit that we just put on tap. We just brewed Age Beauty. That's got a 2-month age, and then
when is that due?
I think that's going to be like a Christmas release. I need at least 2 months.
It's sitting on 2 months.
But then we have we're doing a new single hazy IPA called Blurred Transparency, where we're using cashmere cryo hops. So the more potent, it's got a more aroma flavor to it. So they're cryo hops that we're going to use in this batch to kind of get a little more of that, juicy, citrusy, flavorful hops in the beer.
Fair enough. Nice.
So
that's great. Any events coming up that you'll be at or having at the brewery?
There's a few beer festivals that we're doing, I think, that are coming up, but Oktoberfest themed weekends here, just with the music, the food, out of the food truck right now. We're still new. We haven't, we're still just kind of finding our own. And I want to build this place on people coming here for great beers. I don't want it to be a gimmick that you're coming for a band, you're coming here for trivia night, you're coming here for beer bingo. I want to build this place because of the beer.
Right.
And it's going to take longer and slower, but that's my goal.
That's
honorable. Yeah.
It's an honorable goal. That's awesome.
And it's the way it should be.
And I agree with you 100%. More on that later.
we know a bunch of breweries that have built their reputation on the gimmicks. Maybe not so much events, but gimmicks.
But cool. That's awesome. That's
still
awesome.
Good liquid.
Oh no, the liquid's fine. There's nothing wrong with the liquid. It's just it is what it is. And like I said before, there's a beer for everybody. And I just said that we were at a beer fest, like I said, this whole weekend, and a couple people walk up to me and says, they're in the tent. I don't really like beer all that much. I'm like, I'm not. There's no beer.
Why are you a beer festival?
Well, no, it was a seafood festival.
Oh, that's right. It's a seafood festival.
That's right. So, and I says, you just have not found the beer you like yet. Yeah. There's so many different styles of beer. There's one out there, I promise you, that you'll like. And they tasted one of ours, and they liked it. So there you go. But
and I'm sure if you get up to Quirk Works, you're gonna find a beer you like. Because
I'm sure
Rick has got a great variety of styles up there, and what I told John when I talked about your brewery, like what I really admire about Rick is the courage you have in your brewing. That whole phrase that's everyone loves now, fuck around and find out. Well, that's kind of what you do. You fuck around and you find out. And like you said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I'm a 47-year-old kid, and this brewery's my playground.
I love that.
I mean,
and we all win.
And everybody wins. Exactly. Everybody wins. That's the important part.
Yep.
Everybody wins. I mean, get up there, get up to Quirk Works. I have not been there. But between everything that Dave told me, everything I've talked to Rick about prior to today's show, anything we've talked about on today's show, I can tell you, if your favorite beer styles are anything like mine or Dave's for that matter, go to Danbury, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Go.
Or if you're also like John and I, because another thing that identifies what John and I feel about beer is we've had it all, we've tasted it all. So finding a brewery that is just throwing caution to the wind and brewing different stuff. If you're going to do a cucumber, mango, hazelnut beer, okay, it sounds awful, but I want to try it because I've never had it before.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So anybody who's doing something different, brave enough to try something different.
You asked, John, one of the things that coming, as the temperature starts to drop, right, we're going to get more into the darker, heavier beers and the smoky beers.
Oh, love it.
We're going to be taking, like I used to have a restaurant with smoking chips. We're going to start to smoke chips and smoke the glass. So you're going to get, it's kind of like this, this farm to cocktail, like these speakeasy type bars where they're really putting rimmers and oils and they're smoking wood and they're capturing the glass upside down. That smoke is what we're going to capture and put in our beers. Those are things that we have planned in the future.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Interesting. That's extremely interesting. Any plans of doing a true Rausch? Where you're using
off the onset, because again, it's a 15-barrel brew house. So
you got to do a lot of beer. You got to do a lot of beer.
Yeah, it's a lot of Rausch, and Rausch is not the most popular.
I've smoked grain over bacon fat and use that in beer, and pork fat and ribs and get that salty, swiney flavor in beer.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah, 465 barrels of a Rausch beer. It's a lot of beer. It's a lot of beer.
In Danbury, Connecticut, you're probably not going to sell.
That's a lot of 5-ounce flight samplers.
Yeah.
465 gallons of a Rausch beer is a lot.
Though we are starting to see a rise in popularity of Rausch beers, and we think one human being may have something to do with that. John Holhan now has a.
This week in Rausch beer.
This week, is it a blog? Is it a Facebook page?
It's a Facebook group. It's a Facebook group.
And you got a lot of people who admire John Hall, and I think we've seen the rise of Rausch beers.
He started it as a joke, and it became this huge cult following. So,
and you see more and more Rausch beers now out on the market ever since this came up. Is it a coincidence? It's highly possible.
I think there's a little bit of an overlap between coincidence and
causality. There's a
right.
Causality involved in there where John is so well known nationally that he may have caused some people to do these things because they know they're going to throw it up on that particular Facebook page this week in Rausch beer.
Right.
And everyone's going to now want that beer.
Fair enough.
Just to be part of the group.
Yep. Exactly.
It's about belonging, right?
Exactly. That's what it is. All right. All right. Rick, thank you.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
So much.
I had a blast.
For coming on the show today.
I'd love to hang out, but I'm hungry. I need to go find me a pizza place that's open.
Yeah, exactly. Don't sign off too quick. I want to talk to her a couple minutes before we go because we all got to go eat. So let me do the outro and we'll sign off the show. Stay where you are. We'll talk for just a couple minutes.
One of these days, I'm going to chug a 1 liter beer, a 1 liter glass of beer while he's doing the outro and see which
he's going to do. He's got to do it soon because this would be the time for the 1 liter chug, right? Oktoberfest.
We've got a couple of weeks left in October.
We should do that. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, maybe next week with Tony.
Maybe next week is it's going to be our 2-year anniversary. Next week, right?
Next week is a 2-year anniversary,
and we're going to have Tony Drury.
Tony Drury's on the show,
and he's insane.
He's just exactly. So
anyway, insane.
All right. Anyway, Rick, again, thanks for coming on the show.
Guys,
we'll wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Once again, Rick, thanks for coming on the show with us. We really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly, and we will talk to you soon, folks. Take care.
I'm out of beer.
Prost.
I need more beer.